Good. Here we go. I'm back. Yet another week of football is down. Welcome to the BoB podcast. GM Ryan here. As you know, unfortunately, my little brother couldn't make it to the pod tonight, so tonight it is just me. Speaking of me being the only guest, we need to have someone on here soon. It's week 4 is coming up, so we're not running out of time yet, but do need a league member to come on here soon, and you guys can come on here anytime you would like. So let me know. Just hit me up. Hit me up when you guys want to be on here. I'm feeling good. Coming off a fresh dub against the Straw Hats. We knew that was gonna happen. Little bye week, little free win. Yeah. So we're 2-1 now. Feeling great. Got my Jackson Dart jersey on. He's making his debut this Sunday. I love these jerseys because this is exactly what the Richmond jerseys would look like if we had our own football jerseys. So this might be my favorite jersey. But hey, let's get to it. Week 3 recap. Starting off, as always, I start with my game to get it out the way. Just talk about my perspective, everything that went down. I beat the Straw Hats 113-76. Honestly, not the best showout for me, but a dub is a dub. We'll take that any week. We're 2-1 now. Honestly, no one really did that well for me, except for Vikings defense, baby. I know this league's trying to get rid of defenses, but I don't know. Vikings D, I've had them for over a year now, and they feel like a very important part of my team. And I know you guys like to stream defenses, but I stick with Vikings D no matter what. And it's for reasons like this. It feels good when they go off like this because I'm running with them, man. This is my defense. So they had 32 points, one of the highest scoring performances of the week, actually, which is from a defense is crazy. They had 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 3 fumble recoveries. It was electric. And then other than that, like my next highest scorer was Daniel Jones. He got his first start for Richmond. Put up 17.8. And then my next highest score behind that was Reek with 15.9. And man, I was lucky I was facing Mark, and he didn't have a great week. His highest score was QJ with 14.9. Shout out QJ, balling out this year. And Igbuka got 14.5, so right behind QJ with scoring. And otherwise, no one really did anything for the Hats, but that's why they put up 76. So yeah, nothing else really to say about that game. I'm 2-1 now, and the Hats are 0-3. Next game, I would say this was definitely the game of the week. Coming into week 3. Huge dub for the Banana Stand over the organization. Huge divisional matchup. This matchup will always be a great game forever. Should be better. And so where do we start? The Banana Stand put up nearly one of the highest scores in BoB history. If I could check real quick, this was the, I want to say third highest. Nope. This was the second highest score in BoB history. 212.32. Only team that has a higher score than this all time is the organization back in 2023 with 224. So the Manistan fires back here, wins 212.32 to 135.26. Caleb Williams had his first start, 37 fantasy points. He went absolutely off rip. He threw a long touchdown to Burden. 4 touchdowns, 298 yards, balled out. Another person who balled out. Honestly, I'm going to name his whole team basically because everyone went crazy. JT with 32.8, 3 touchdowns, 100 yards, Amon Ra, 20.7 fantasy points. Garrett, 24.4. JSN, 20.6. Roman Trey McBride, both slightly over 15. Seahawks D, 17. And McLaughlin, the kicker, 20 fantasy points. I mean, nothing you could do against a team like this when they go off like that. That is just history. What a good call by the banana stand to sit Herbert in this one and start the quarterback that they traded for in this offseason. 37 points from Caleb. As for Mike's team, his highest score was Jahmyr Gibbs, 26.9. Ferguson showed out, 13 catches, 82 yards, 21.2 fantasy points. Bijan had a pretty solid game, even though they lost 30-0. 16.1 points, and that's about it for Mike. Really bad week for him other than a loss because he loses CeeDee Lamb here for a few weeks. CeeDee got hurt in the first quarter, tried to come back in, but wasn't working out. He ran like a fade route in the end zone and couldn't even finish the route. He had to limp off the field, and they didn't let him back in. And I think he's out for a few weeks now. And then he lost Mike Evans as well. I don't really remember how long Evans played for. Evans still had a touchdown in this game, and it got Mike 13.3. But, yeah, he's out for, I think, a couple weeks now. I think till maybe like the second week in October he'll come back. So that's really it for Mike. So, yeah, again, big win for the banana stand. They move to 3-0, and the organization moves to 1-2. Next up, this was a good game. The Farm versus Roast Beast. The Farm wins by 12 points here, 136 to 124. The Farm, what a start to the year. People were doubting them, but he's silencing the doubters. When his core four goes off like this, man, they're hard to beat. 136.34, 124.28. Jalen Hurts, 35 points. McCaffrey, 24 points. James Cook, 20.8. A.J. Brown, basically 23. That core four is dangerous. Main reason why I got the dub here. No one else did really anything on his team. But big start, 3-0. Roast Beast falls to the other opposite way of 3-0. Goes to 0-3. George Pickens, very nice game for him, 17.8. Michael Pittman, 19.3. Kyron, 19.2. Kenneth Walker, 18, but wasn't enough. As I'm going through these games, I'm actually realizing I think... Did I go over these with Brandon? What did me and Brandon recorded the pod when? Was it Monday? So I don't think all the games are set in stone anyway. So I'm just going to go through them real quick. Yeah, I think we did talk about them, but screw it. You could always skip it anyway if you don't want to hear me talk about these games again. You're the Man beat Meg the Stallion. Huge win. They both were 1-1 coming into this game. You're the Man is now 2-1. Meg the Stallion's now 1-2. 162 to 127. Lamar, 33 points. Huge game. Cortland Sutton, 23.8. Mark Andrews, huge comeback after dropping less than 2 points the first 2 weeks. He dropped 27.1 on Monday night last week. And Colts defense showed out as well for You're the Man. 16 points. And as for Meg, Drake May, 23. Omarion Hampton, his best game of the year after scoring 8 and 3. His first 2 weeks, he comes out and basically scores 25. Puka, of course, got nearly 23 points. He's all reliable for Meg. And that's really it for them. So, You're the Man, 2-1. Meg, 1-2. And the last game I got to go over, week 3, before we get into Commission's questions and then my predictions for next week. Um, the company versus the Empire. This is an older bros division game, so this mattered a lot. Um, Steve was 2-0 coming into this game, and Norm was 1-1. The company won this one 117.62 to 85.46. Josh Allen leading the way, as always, for the company, 29 points. Nico Collins, huge comeback game. After doing bad the first week and average the second week, he got 22.4 this past weekend. And Kincaid, big game, 17.6. He's having a really solid year. Seems like this could be his year where he's forming into the tight end that they need him to be and be a reliable target for Josh Allen. It's a very nice stack to have. And then Steelers D showing out for the company as well, 15 points. And for Steve, it was a really rough week. No one really did that well. His highest score was Devon Achan with 16.1, and then following that was Buccaneers D with 16. And everyone else had a bad week. And yeah, that's why they only scored 85. But I do expect Empire to bounce back. Not this week, though, because they play Richmond. But maybe the week after. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. So now Norm is 1-2, and after they picked up their first dub, they're 1-2, and the Empire picks up their first loss of the year. They're now 2-1. So before I get into the questions, no, before I get into my predictions for next week, I'm going to do smacked. I just ate, so a little salty. I'm thirsty. So now, commission's questions of the week. Let me pull up our messages so I do this exactly how he wants. So let's start off with the non-football question this week. Kamish has asked, if you could live in any fictional universe, which would it be and why? I would be lying if I said this was a hard decision. It really wasn't. Always would have loved to go to this place since I was a kid. One of my favorite Disney movies growing up. Gotta say, Neverland is where I would want to go. Let me tell you why. Literally, you could fly. You don't age. Some people would say that's scary, but it's really not. Because realistically, probably could just off yourself if you get tired of it. But also, time does pass differently there. So who even knows what it would be like? I think it would be paradise. I would go there right now. How I am at 25. This is like my prime, so I'd be cool with staying the same age the whole time I'm there. Um, I just think it would be a vibe. Uh, so obviously there's pirates there, which could seem dangerous, but in my opinion, Captain Hook is an idiot anyway, and I would just start my own crew myself. Imagine being a pirate out there, bro. The vibes would be immaculate. I would have my own parrot, my own sword, my own crew, and I would be able to fly. That's it's paradise. And can't forget mermaids. Mermaids are out there, brother. And when it comes to food, I'm pretty sure they just hunt for food. Like, I mean, that's probably fun to do. So, yeah. If I had to pick another place, um, this possibly could be number one. The Lego universe, because you can pretty much do anything you want without having consequence. Like, let's just say you want to like, if let's just say you're scared of like doing something like that involves heights, because you're scared if you'll fall, right? You fall in that universe, just break apart, and they just put you back together. Like you could do anything you want there. It's like basically our world, but probably cooler. And yeah, I just think that would be a good place to live. So let's just do the opposite real quick. Places you would not want to live. One, Gotham. Gotham is hell. Literally just villains popping up all the time. It's probably like the most unsafe place to live. I go to work in Trenton all the time. It's miserable there. We're talking Gotham though. Times that by 1,000, I would not even imagine being able to live there and like being comfortable. It probably sucks so much. Um, and then another place I would not want to live is the Star Wars universe. There's just constant war. Um, the Empire constantly just wiping out planets. Um, the First Order literally made a weapon to blow up planets, and that could be me. Like, why would I want to live out there? And there's also just aliens everywhere too that are ugly as hell. I would just hate being around them, honestly. But only way I'd be cool living in that universe. I mean, this is a positive. This is why I actually maybe would pick to live in this universe, the Star Wars universe. Is if I'm a Jedi in that universe and I have the Force, I have my own lightsaber, and I have my own ship. I mean, there's no vibes like that. So maybe I would consider the Star Wars universe. If I'm a Jedi and I have the Force, give me that and a spaceship. I'm set, absolutely set. But yeah, that is also just super dangerous. Um, so moving on to the football question of the week. Kamish said, "Do a panic or patience segment for the following teams: Megan Thee Stallion, The Empire, The Company, Roast Beast, and The Organization." So let's start off with Meg. We'll do it in order that he asked. So yo, if I'm Meg, I think I gotta panic a little bit. So they lost back-to-back games to the farm, and you're the man. And they haven't scored over 140 yet this year. Um, they play the Company this week, and they are projected to beat the Company by two. This is a very winnable game, in my opinion, for Alex. Um, he needs to win this week. If he doesn't win this week, I'm panicking like crazy. Um, his schedule coming up. If he loses this next game and falls to 1-3, he has the Empire, Richmond, and the Banana Stand ahead. And then he gets Roast Beast, which is calm. But then he gets Richmond, the Organization, back to back. So it's looking scary for them. I would maybe say don't panic completely yet. If he wins this week, 2-2 is a nice place to be, and he could definitely beat the Empire in week 5, and become 3-2. But I would be a little worried if I was him. I won't panic completely yet, like I said, if he wins this week against the Company. But if he loses, I am panicking like crazy if I am him. Um, moving on, the Empire. So the Empire had one of their worst performances last week in franchise history, dropping 85. And they did win to start the year, 2 games in a row. Win is a win, but their opponents did not put up that much. So, like I'm saying, he hasn't been scoring that high this year, even though he's 2-1. I would. It's crazy to say. Like I don't want to say panic because he's 2-1. So I think patience is the right answer here. But I mean, he did lose Reed and Worthy. Worthy is coming back, which is going to be a plus for him. Uh, no, you don't panic yet if you're Steve. I think it's patience. He has Richmond this week, and then he has Meg, then the farm, then the organization, then Richmond again. So his schedule is tough coming up for sure, but I don't think it's right to say the panic already if you're 2-1. So I'm gonna say patience for him. But but if he loses to me this week and Meg the following week in week 5, I'm definitely panicking looking at his schedule. But we'll see. The company. The company is 1-2. And like I said when I was talking about Meg, they play Meg this week. Um, this game matters big time, especially it being a division game. They are 1-2. This is a must win. If they fall to 1-3, then they have the organization the week after. That might be 1-4. But then they play Rose Beast and the Shaw Hats back to back. Those could be wins. But then they go back to facing two really good division teams, the Banana Stand and You're the Man. So, if I am Norm, I'm panicking a little bit. I am. I'm definitely panicking a little bit. Roast Beast. Roast Beast has started 0-3 to start the year. They're actually in a very special exclusive club. ESPN has reported only 12% of teams in ESPN leagues are 0-3 right now. So, congratulations, Chris. Um, yeah, if I'm Chris, I'm panicking. Like, big time. I'm looking at his schedule and I don't know, like, if I could say he's gonna win until week 11. No, no insult, no insult at all to Roast Beast. I respect their team. They fight hard. They have heart, but it's just not looking good. I'm panicking like crazy if I'm them. So they're 0-3 now. Have a really tough matchup this week against You're the Man. They're projected to lose 140 to 117 against You're the Man. And then they have Richmond, the company. Richmond again. Richmond twice in 3 weeks, actually. That's crazy. And then Meg, the Empire, the company. All in a row. So far, all those teams have been better than him. But as we know, history shows Roast Beast actually always does find a way to pick up one dub against Richmond in the regular season. So I'm not saying it can't be done. But like if you look at their lineup this week, um, like Jaden Daniels and Terry are both out. We don't know when either of them are gonna come back yet. And like he has Shahid in his lineup right now, who is just having a very I don't know mediocre kind of season. And he has Jawan Johnson in at tight end, which is like I mean he's having a really good year, but I don't know. It doesn't look right to be starting Jawan Johnson in our league, but Yeah, his lineup's not looking too hot. Starting T-Law right now. I say by week 10. Say by week 10, looking at the schedule, I think Roast Beast has 2 wins max. I'm definitely panicking if I'm them. Coming up next is the organization. Surprising 1 and 2 start from them. This week, though, I think they get their swagger back a little bit, even though they don't have CD or Mike Evans. Still putting out a pretty solid lineup. They're projected to beat the Hats by 38 points this week. They should definitely pick up the dub and become 2-2. And then they have the Company, the Banana Stand, the Empire, You're the Man coming up. Yeah, I'm not panicking. I'm not panicking if I'm Mike. Being patient and letting it play out. He has the roster to make a run and bounce back from his 1-2 start. So, moving on into week 4, the matchups. I know I just talked about some of them, but I didn't even pick my winner, I don't think. So let's just go into my predictions for this week. I wish that I could talk about our narrative as well for week 4, but Kamish hasn't got it to us yet. I'm sure he's had a pretty busy week. His birthday just passed. Shout out Kamish, happy birthday. Big 25. Yeah. Who? Okay, my bad. I was just waiting for this to pull up. Okay. So, first matchup of the week, Richmond, AFC Richmond versus the Empire. Huge divisional matchup. Richmond is 2-1 coming into this. The Empire is 2-1. Richmond's in first place in our division. The Empire is in second. So this is the battle for first place, the top spot in our division currently. Um, let's just go through the lineups real quick. We got Pat Mahomes. This is the Empire's lineup this week. We got Pat Mahomes, Just Kidding Dobbins, working his way into the lineup now. Dobbins has been playing really well. He deserves his starting spot in the lineup. Devon Achan, Jerry Judy, Worthy's back. He's been cleared to play. Debo, Tyler Warren, and Chuba Hubbard, Ramsey, and Cam Little at kicker. Yeah, he benched Kelsey. Pretty big decision to set the vet, but hey, I mean, you gotta do it. You gotta do what you gotta do. It's about winning. It is what it is. Then for Richmond, we actually don't know yet who we are definitely starting at quarterback. Right now, Daniel Jones sits at the top of the depth chart because he started for us last week. But we've had great news. Brock Purdy has been cleared, and he's been practicing, and he's been looking good in practice. So, will Purdy start for Richmond over Daniel Jones? It is going to be a game time decision. I'll tell you that now. And there's even someone else working to the quarterback battle this week at Richmond practices. Jackson Dart. I feel like I'm going to wake up on Sunday, be too hyped about his debut, and put on some Jackson Dart highlights and maybe convince myself to just throw him in the game. But might just play it safe because this is such a big game, and I'm gonna have to be more confident about who I put out there. So I think it is gonna be Purdy or Daniel Jones. I'm not gonna throw the rook out there in such an important game right away. You know what I'm saying? So quarterback question mark. Then we got Derrick Henry, Kamara, Jamar, Leak, Slick Rick slotting in, Brock Bowers, and Tyreek Hill. I actually had Chris Olave in my lineup at flex earlier this week over Tyreek, but I don't know, man. It's hard to sit Tyreek. He's done so much for our organization, and as hard as Dolphins' offense is hard to watch, I just don't know if I could find it in me to sit Tyreek yet. So I think we're putting him out there. Then, as always, Vikings D and Boswell as well. You guys know, with the shape that our team is in, I am not going to pick against Richmond. So I am picking Richmond in this matchup against the Empire. Next up, another big division game. Whoever loses this game will fall to 1-3, which is hard to come back from. Megan Thee Stallion is projected 138.08. The company is only projected 2 less with 136.07. The company did have Brick play last night, who put up 10.4. And I think that gives Alex, I think that puts Alex in a good position to win this game, I think Alex's team does look a little better this week. Here, I'll do the lineups real quick. Josh Allen, this is the company's lineup. Josh Allen, Saquon, Genti, Nico Collins, J-Mo. Waddle has worked his way back into the lineup. Dalton Kincaid, like I said, Brick Benson played. Steelers D, and Jake Elliott a kicker. And then for Meg, we got Drake May, Josh Jacobs, Amarian, Puka, Ladd, Jordan Addison, welcome back off his suspension. Then you got Zach Ertz and Judkins. Patriots D, which might be the Eagles D instead, if Alex ends up picking them up. And then Bucker at kicker. So, I really like Alex's matchups, but by the way, Judkins is getting his first start for Meg. That's pretty big. Big, trade in the offseason to get Judkins for Meg. I am going. You know why? I'm going with the company mainly for this one reason. The Bills play the Saints. Josh Allen could have an easy 40 clip against the Saints. Like, it could get really bad. Yeah, that's my main reason why for picking the company in this one. And Kincaid is also playing the Saints. He has a stack. I could see them both doing really, really well. And Ashton Genti hasn't had such a great start. I think it's finally time that he has a big game. Saquon against the Bucs should do well. Waddle against the Jets, I think, will do well. They have Brandon Stevens, who sucks. Either him or Reek's bound to get a huge touchdown. On the other hand, Alex does have Omarion against the Giants. Drake May against Carolina is also could be really good. Yeah, this is going to be a close one. I'm still riding with the company here. And I think the company is going to end up being 2-2, and Meg's going to be 1-3 after this one. Next up, You're the Man versus Roast Beast. You're the Man is projected 140.25, and Roast Beast is projected 117.85. Roast Beast had Kenneth Walker play last night. Ran for 81 yards, but wasn't the biggest fantasy game. Only 12 points exactly. And the Roast Beast lineup just not looking too hot going into this one at all. Yeah, I'm rolling with You're the Man here. Lamar, I expect a big game from him. Brian Thomas Jr. has to pop out. Devontae Adams, I think, has a big game. And I think Jacoby has a big game as well against Chicago. They don't have the best secondary. And as for Roast Beast, I mean, I'm not confident with Shaheed and Jawan Johnson starting for him. And Trevor Lawrence is just disappointing. And I think he's going to be disappointing again this week. So, You're the Man in this one. I got Roast Beast falling to 0-4, and You're the Man going to 3-1 after this one. Next up, I got the organization versus the Straw Hats. Organization's 1-2. Straw Hats are 0-3. Organization expected to win by 38. They had Kyler play last night, who put up 20.1, which I'm sure the organization will take that after back-to-back weeks of only 16 from Kyler. So organization that had Kyler play. They got Bijan, Gibbs, Jefferson. Jawan Jennings is replacing CD. Keenan Allen is replacing Mike Evans. Got Ferg out there, who I think is going to do really well with CD out. And then he's got Jordan Mason in there as well, who had an awesome week last week. I think he had almost 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then he's got Broncos D and Jake Bates going out there. And then for the Hats, it's going to be Penix, Henderson, Tootin, London, Ibuka, QJ, Dr. Strange, Romeo Dobbs, Panthers D, and legendary kicker Brandon Aubrey. I think London and Ibuka and QJ all have really nice games this week, actually, but it's not going to be enough to beat the organization. I got the organization moving to 2-2 after this one, and the Hats moving to 0-4. Then the last and final prediction of the week, I got the Banana Stand versus the Farm. These are the last 3-0 teams that we have in our league. Huge Younger Bros division matchup. Whoever wins this takes the top spot in the division for now. The Banana Stand is rolling out Caleb Williams at quarterback once again. I mean, how could you not after that performance last week? Then he's got JT, Brees Hall, Amon-Ra, Garrett, JSN, who played last night and put up 13, and Trey McBride, who also played last night, who got 12.2. Then he's got Rome at flex, and Chargers D, and McLaughlin at kicker. So I believe this is the exact same lineup that he rolled out last week. If you put up 212, you're not changing anything, so makes sense. Then the Farm, Jalen Hurts, McCaffrey, Cook, AJ Brown, Tet, Zay, Tucker Kraft. Hunter Henry's actually picking up his first start for the Farm. He did put up 29 last week, and they're playing Carolina, so this could be an X factor in this game. Texans and McPherson. Right now, the Banana Stand is projected to win by about 3 points. They have 25.2 combined already from JSN and McBride. Um, I'm picking the banana stand to win this game. I do expect CMC and James Cook to have awesome games against their matchups. Cook versus Saints, McCaffrey versus Jacksonville. Tucker Craft plays Dallas. That could also be a really good one. So Jack's matchups are very favorable, which does not make this game like impossible to win at all. It's definitely possible. But it just I'm not picking against the stand after the week that they had last week, and I think they moved to 4-0. And that's it for my predictions. So that looks like that's it for the pod this week. I hope you guys enjoyed listening. Next week, I will maybe be back here with a guest. Let's see if I can sort anything out. Like I said earlier, if you want to be on the pod, just hit me up and we can figure something out. And that's really it. I hope you guys all enjoy the games this week. Not too much, though. I really hope all your teams suck, especially you, the Empire. If you're Darth Vader, I am Luke Skywalker. If you are the Empire, I am the Republic. All right? Better watch your back, buddy. We're coming. Richmond, we out. Peace!